Welcome to another episode, and today we're going to talk about how I build buyer personas that actually drive sales in B2B. So buyer personas are absolutely important to give your teams every single details they need to properly talk to that one person. Their demographics, their psychographics, their salary, even their race. Knowing as much detail as possible just set up your team for more success. So this is my personal framework for creating buyer personas that drive real revenue based on my years experience in SaaS and doing training industry. So these personas help align sales, marketing, and the product team around who we are selling to and why they buy. So important to know their challenges, their pain point, and what keywords would trigger that person to make them want to buy your product and service. So I'm not gatekeeping anything. I'm gonna show you exactly how I build personas that have worked across 300K pipeline that I have built over time in campaigns and enterprise sales. So let's get to it. So who am I? So I spent the last 6+ years in B2B product marketing, especially in SaaS and industrial training. I have led go-to-market strategies, created sales enablement tools, and built buyer personas that have helped me grow enrollments and sales. So today we're going to focus on buyer personas, and you'd be surprised at how many companies don't even have an ideal info sheet or one pager of what their target audience is, because ideally you should be having several different buyer personas for this one different product and service because multiple people buy it. I know how hard it is to get the messaging right, and most of the time the problem starts with not knowing your customer well enough. All right, so what is a buyer persona? A buyer persona is a detailed description of your ideal customer based on real data and real behavior, not guesses. So this is absolutely important. You want to talk to your customers. You ideally already have several customers that you have worked with before. All you gotta do is just ask them if you could get their feedback, ask them questions about their demographic, their psychographic, get real data from your customers by asking them questions. Now, you could use AI, and the problem with AI is that sometimes it hallucinates, meaning that sometimes it just makes up stuff. So it's better to talk to people you are already working with to get real information. So it outlines the customer's job title, goals, pain points, buying triggers, and personality traits so you can connect with them more effectively. So this gives you and your team the information you need to connect with the audience. And like as I mentioned before, there's gonna be several different buyer personas that buy your product and service. So it's very important to have different sheets on each of those persons. So think of it as a cheat sheet that helps you make better marketing, sales, and product decisions. So ideally, when you create the buyer persona, you let the CS team or the sales team know about it. And when they're reaching out to different accounts or new prospects, they will have this cheat sheet on hand to know exactly how to engage with that person. So example, if you're selling online training, one persona might be a small business owner who manages a team of field technicians. Their biggest priority, getting new hires up to speed fast without disrupting daily operation. So these are the type of wording you would use for this small business owner. However, if you're reaching to a mid-sized company or a larger company, they might want more advanced training for their employees, right? So you're going to use different messaging towards that person. So why does this matter? So without a persona, your messaging becomes too generic, which means nobody feels like you're talking to them. So if you use generic messaging, it's just they're not gonna connect on an emotional level or just connect with you in general. It's too generic. Like you're probably talking past over them. And so this is why persona just gives you a clearer idea of who you're talking to. So a strong persona lets you write emails, ads, and content that feels personal and relevant, which boosts engagement and conversion. You'd be surprised at how a 1%, 2%, 5% conversion rate increase can help your bottom line. It increases your revenue. And on top of that, it affects the internal team as well in terms of the website, in terms of the content that's going out. And it affects the way your team talks to the customer. So it affects the company as a wide on who you are targeting with the personas. So it gives your entire team, sales, marketing, and support a shared understanding of who you're serving and how to prioritize their need. So once again, super important that you have buyer personas detailed out based on real data on customers you are talking to understand who you are dealing with. So what to include in a persona? Get the role, job title, company size, industry to understand what kind of business and job they're in. Get their primary goals. So what success looks like in their role and what they're trying to accomplish. Frustrations and blockers, the pain points they deal with every day. How they buy, who's involved, who's the stakeholders, who's the decision makers. what content they look for, and what objections they might have. So, for example, a training manager at a mid-sized company might care more about simplifying, onboarding, and providing ROI, return on investment, to leadership. Knowing that tells you exactly what to highlight in your pitch. So when you have these different information, you could clearly reiterate to them their goals, reiterate to them their frustrations and blockers, and it's going to show them that, oh, this is for me. They know that you're talking to me, right? They're going to feel like it's relevant to them and it's personal, which is why this is absolutely powerful. How to build one quickly. So first, start with your best customers. Like I said, you already have customers you sold to. Use them. The ones who are easy to work with and stick around. And you probably have 5 off the top of your head. So interview 5 to 10 of them to learn what problems they had, what they cared about, and how they found you. And this is another good opportunity to actually get a testimonial. They could talk more about your company and how you're able to solve their problems. Use your notes to build 1 to 2 personas you can use across marketing, sales, and product decision. So let me talk about comms or communication across the organization. It's absolutely important that everybody knows to easily access the buyer persona. Number 1, like tell everybody where to go to access it. And number 2, how to use the buyer persona and who's it for. Make it very easy to read. Common mistakes. So making persona based on guesses instead of real customers' conversation. So I know the thought of not wanting to talk to the customers and not having to ask these questions of them. I get it. But if you want to really hone in and really understand your customers, you have to get them on the call. You have to talk to them. Like just email them and say you could get 15 minutes of their time. Maybe offer them a gift card in return. Right? So creating too many personas at once, which leads to scattered messaging and poor focus. So while many different customers might buy your product and service, let's focus on the highest leverage one, the one that's giving you the most revenue. Focus on that top customers, really hone in on that buyer persona and get that right first before creating too many. Forgetting to revisit and refine your personas as your product and market evolves. So this is important as well because trends change, people change, markets change, products change. Because of that change, it's good to revisit your personas every 6 to a year just to see if anything changes and make those tad refinements. So example, I once worked with a company that had 5 different personas and they didn't know which one to prioritize, which is a mistake. So after simplifying to just one, the one who signs a contract, the one who gives you the most revenue, the one that's easy to work with, their messaging finally clicked and conversion rates went up. So focus on that top persona and get that one done first. So to wrap up, think of one customer who's a great fit, someone you love to work with again. Write down what made them a great fit, their goals, problems, and what they value most. Use that to create your first buyer persona and test it in your next email, ad, and sales pitch. Like test it right away. You want to test, and see what works the best. Experiment fast, get feedback fast. So what to do next? If this helped you finally understand how to build a real buyer persona, please tap the like button so I know this hits home. Subscribe for more B2B product marketing strategies that actually work. And leave a comment with one insight you got from building your persona or a question you're stuck on that I could help out with. And then check out the next video. It will help you take everything you learn about your buyer and apply it to your positioning and messaging so your product starts speaking their language. That's what I'm here to do on this channel. So cheers. Once again, my name is Tony, and I'll see you in the next video.